Python list. Lists are used to store collections of data. The data can be similar or not similar. Let's declare a variable, names, which will be a list of names. Ola, Shade, Adelu. These are similar because they are all characters. The first item in the list has an index of 0. The second item in the list has an index of 1, and the third item in the list has an index of 2. And it goes on like that. Don't forget to have in-person training in Python, data science, data analysis, web development, and lots more. Please kindly chat the numbers above. Okay, now we want to talk about lists. A list is a collection of data. The data can be similar or not similar. Okay, the first thing we want to do is create an empty list. So we can say, for example, you can say names of some people is empty, which means they do not have names. So we can later append data like names to that particular list. Now let's create a non-empty list. Let's say we have students, and the students are, now the first student is Shade. Shade is a string, so we have to quote. You can use double quote or single quote. So Shade is the first element or item in the list. The second element is Ade, and the third one is Kunle. We are quoting all these because they are string, and the last one is Adelu. Now you can see we have similar elements, they're all strings. What if I want to put non-similar elements? Let me just say the names and IDs of students. So I have the first name, let's say we have Shade. And our ID is, let's say we have 5. You can see we have non-similar elements. Shade is a string, 5 is a number. So you don't quote number, you only quote string. So we have the second person to be Ade, and his ID is, let's say 10. So these are non-similar items or elements. Now a list can also contain other lists. For example, I have students and I have their marks. So I want to store their names in a list and also store their marks in a list. So let me declare a variable called students marks, and then that will be list. Now this is a list. Now I want two lists to be inside this particular list. What is the first list? This is the first list, then comma the second list. So all these two lists are within a single list. So how do I populate the first list? That will be the names of all the students. Let the first name be Shade. Still within that list, comma, the second name is Ade, and the third person is Kunle. Now go to the second list. I want to store their marks. So you can see 23, you can see 45, and 56. So this is a single list that contains two other lists. Now let's go to what we call list elements. The elements inside a list are called elements or items. So names here asks how many elements. It has 4 elements, starting at index 0, which means if I want to access this Shade, I'll access it with an index 0. This index 1 Ade, Kunle is index 2, and Adelu is index 3. Let's come to a list that contains other lists. This is at index 1. All these are at index 1. Why within the index 1? Shade is at index 0. Why within the first index, which is index 0, Shade is now at index 0 again within the first index 0. So this is index 1, and 20 is at index 0 of index 1. I hope you have gotten that. Don't forget, this second list is index 1 because the index 0 is this first list. So this is index 1 now. If you now check this index 1 now is a list again. So the first item, which is 20, will now be at index 0 of this list. And that is what I'm explaining. So now, how do I have access to the elements? Let's say I want to have access to the first item or element, which is Shade. So I'll just say names, put a square bracket, put 0. And I want to print it. So instead of just putting that, I can just say print names at index 0. So I can print. That should give me Shade. Can you see Shade? Now I can print the first index, which is index 1. So you can say print names at index 1. So that should give me Ade. Can you see it gives me Ade? So I continue like that. Index 0, index 1, index 2. If I want to access from the last, I want to access the last person. So you can't be saying index 1, index 2. You can use minus indexing. So just say print. Take the list name. Then you say minus 1. Minus 1 means the last item. The last item in the list. So let's print. That gives me Adelu. I can print the second to the last item in the list. Names minus 2. That gives me Kunle, and I can continue like that. Now let's have access to elements within a list that contain other lists. So how do I have access to the first list? The first list is at index 0, so I'll just say print students at index 0. So you can see it prints all the names. That's the first list. And within that first list, which is student index 0, I want to print. Now this returns a list, so I can use indexing to also have access to Shade. So I'll say Shade is at index 0. Don't forget, put 0 here. So it will pick Shade from the first list. So it has picked Shade. If I want to pick Kunle, which is second, which is the last, so just say minus 1. So it has picked Kunle. Okay, let me have access to the second list, which is at index 1 now. So I'll just say student at index 1. Okay, so it will print the list, which is 20, 35, and 67. Now within that list, I want to have access to the last element, put minus 1, which is 67. Wow, can you see that? So in the next class, we'll go over to how to iterate over a list, and that'll be very interesting. Thank you. Okay, now we want to iterate over a list. That means we want to go over each of the item. How do we iterate? Say for pick a variable name, item in names. Name is the name of the list. What do I want to do to each item? I want to print each of the item. So let's run our code. You can see it's print each of the item. Now instead of printing each of the item, I want to modify each of the item. So I can just say for item in names. While you are going through each item, do something for me. Print but attach LWEA to each of the item and print after attaching. So I can use my F string, put a double quote. So I want to say attach LWEA dash to each of the item. So here it will attach LWA to the variable item or to the item in the each of the item in the list. Okay, let's print. You can see it attached LWA Shade, LWA Ade, Kunle, and Adelu. Okay, that is how to iterate over a list. Now, to strengthen our knowledge on iteration and other aspects of the language that we have learned so far, let's write a simple program to count the odd numbers and the even numbers in this particular list. How do we achieve that? So we have the list to be numbers equals or giving an initial value of 2, 5, 6, 4, 8, 3, 10. So for us to have access to each of the item or element of this list, I have to use a for loop. Okay, so we say for, let's say num, let's say number in numbers. So now, if number, that's each of the item, is divisible by 2 and it remains, if the number divisible by 2 remains 0, so the modulus here means give me the remainder of number divided by 2. That is the meaning of modulus. So first item is what? 2. It will say 2 modulus 2. That is what? Remainder is 0. So if 0 equals to 0, come and execute the following line. So now, so how do I achieve getting the count of the even numbers? So I can just use a counter. I can use count underscore even. It's just a variable name. Give it an initial value of 0. So I can increment this count even equals count even plus 1. Now because the first number is divisible by 2 and give us a remainder of 0, that's an even number, this line will be executed. It will say the 0, which is an initial value, plus 1, the new value becomes 1 and is stored inside count even. So we have counted that. So if you check the second number, if it's also even, it will now increment the count, which is what? The 1 plus 1, that's 2. It will store 2 inside count even. So it has taken note of 2 even numbers. So that is the logic here. Else means if the number is not divisible by 2, then I want to count it as odd. So I also need a counter for the odd. Count odd equals 0. So say count odd, giving count odd plus 1. So at the end of the day, I want to write a message. You go outside the for loop. Say print. I need my F string because I want to insert variables count even and count odd inside the string. So that will be possible if I use F before the string. So I'll say there are, okay, let me just say the even numbers. That is, I can say count even. This will give me, if the evens are 3, to say 3, then text evens, 3 evens. And I want to count the odd. Say count odd. If the odd are 5, say 5 odd. Okay, let's run this program. Can you see? 5 evens and 2 odd. How many items are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 items. 5 of them are evens and 2 of them are odd numbers. All right. Okay, we want to look at list methods. List methods are methods that perform actions. So for example, the first one here is append. Append performs what action? It adds an element to the end of a list. For example, let me add Jide to the end of this list. I'll say names dot append what? Jide. If I want to append a number, I will not quote the number. I only need to quote a string, which is Jide. So if I want to add a number, I will just say append the number. But I'm appending a string, Jide. So I have to quote. So let's print the new names. You can observe that Jide has been added to the end of the list. Remove. Remove removes an element from a list. Let me remove Jide from the list. I'll quote Jide because Jide is a string. Then print the names. Let me run. You can see that the list now appears without Jide. Now insert. Insert an element at a specific or specified position. For example, let me insert let's insert Shade at a particular index. Let's say index 1. So we'll say names dot insert at index 1. What do I want to insert? Shade. So the Shade should be the second item in the list now. Let's print names. So you can see Shade is now the second item in the list. Pop. Pop removes and returns an element at a specified index. So let's say names dot pop at index 1. So it will remove the element at index 1 and returns that element. So let's try to print what this will give us. It's a print. So it removes Shade from the list, which is at index 1. Then it returns it. That is, it singles it out. So if I print the remaining list now, say names, we don't expect Shade to be in that list. You can see the list is now without Shade. Now dot index. Index returns the index of an item or element. So for example, if I say print names dot index, what index? Let's look at I think I have okay, let me look at the names. I think I have color. Let me look at the index of color. So let's print. So color is at index 3 because Ola is index 0, Olu 1, Shola 2, and color 3. So the next one we want to look at is count. Count counts the occurrence of an element. How many Olu do we have in the list? Let's count. So we'll say names. Well, let's print it out. Print names dot count. So I want to count Olu. That should be just 1. So let's print. It's just 1. Now clear. Clear clears the element in a list. So we want to clear all the elements in the names list. Names dot clear. Let's print names. So let's run our program now. So names is now an empty list. Okay, let's continue with list methods. So we want to look at sort. Sort sorts a list or arrange a list in ascending order. So we have ages 12, 20, 17, 18, and 20. To sort this, we can just say ages dot sort. We can print ages. Okay, let's try to print this. Now you can see that the ages have been sorted in ascending order. Okay, in order to sort these ages in descending order, we are going to use reverse equals true. Okay, so we can say, so we can just say ages dot sort, then we'll put the optional parameter, which is reverse equals true. So let's print ages. We should see it in descending order. You can see it starts from the highest to lowest. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is reverse. We can use reverse method to reverse the element in a list. So let's look at quotes. So quotes dot reverse. Let's print quotes. Sorry, we're supposed to say reverse. Now we start from 24689. Now it is starting from 98642. That is in a reverse order. So the next one we want to look at is we want to create a shallow copy of the list, just to create a duplicate of that particular list. So let's declare a variable to store the shallow copy. Let's just say copy of quotes equals. Now where is the copy? Where is the original copy? That's quotes dot, I want to copy it, so use the copy method. So I've copied the content of quotes to copy of quotes. Now let's try to print. Okay, let's try to append 10 to copy of quotes. So we say copy of quotes dot append. We want to append 10. So we can now print. Let's print the 2. So print quotes. Now we'll print copy of quotes. So what we expect is that the copy of quotes that we have created as a shallow copy, 10 is appended, so it's supposed to have an extra number. So let's print. You can see the first one is 98642. That's the quotes. Now the copy of quotes, which is a shallow copy of the original quote, now has an extra number 10. So dot copy is used to create duplicates of something or a list. Okay, let's go to length. Length is a function. Length is a function that returns the number of items in a list. So we can say length of which list? Products. So if I want to print, I can print it. Say print. Let me just say length of products. Let me clear the one that is outside. So I have gotten the length of the products and I've printed it. So let's display it on the screen. That's 4. So we have 4 items in this particular list. Now delete an item at a particular index. Okay, for example, if I want to delete an item at index 0, which is the first item in the list, I will just say del products. This is the list name. Sorry, products. Then at what particular index? Index 0. So let's print products. So we expect that the first product will have been deleted, which is milk. So we have tea, egg, and Milo left. Now joins all items in a list using a specified character. For example, let's declare a new variable called my products. Now I want to join a comma after each of the products. So what do I want to join? You quote it, comma. I want to join the comma dot join method. What is that list I want to perform the join on? That's the products list. So let's now print the new variable, which is my products, which contains joined items of the product list using a comma. So we have print, so my products. So you can see we have tea, comma egg, comma Milo. So that is the essence of join. Okay, the next one we want to look at. Okay, I think that's that for that. So in the next class we'll be looking at a very simple project to strengthen our knowledge on list methods in Python. Okay, let's have a sample project to strengthen our knowledge on list method. Write a program to extract even and odd numbers. Create 2 separate lists for even and odd numbers respectively. So this is a list of numbers. So we are asked to create 2 different lists. One will store even numbers and the other one will store odd numbers. So the first thing is to create an empty list, even underscore numbers, which is going to be empty. And the second one will be odd underscore numbers, which is also going to be empty. Now, in order to get the even numbers out or odd numbers, we have to iterate through the list. So how do we iterate or go over the list? To say for, let's say item in, where is the list? Numbers. Now we have to check. For example, the first item here is 11. Let's check 11. So if item will pick, item is the variable that will pick the first element or item in the list. So if item modulus 2 equals 0, that is if I divide the item by 2 and the remainder is 0. That is the meaning of this. Then I'm not printing. I want to append that item to even number list, which is initially empty. So say even number dot append. What do I want to append? I'm appending the current item. What if that item is not divisible by 2? That is, the remainder is not equal to 0. That means this line will not be executed. So I have to write another code in case this is not executed. So I can use the else. else what do I want to do? That particular number should be odd number. So just say odd numbers dot append. That is the empty list. Then append the item. So if the item is not appended to this, that is, this line is not executed, then that means the number is an odd number. So append it to the odd number. So now I want to, after the for loop, I want to print the even numbers and also print the odd numbers. So I'll just say print. You can just put a quotation, which is even numbers. Then I can put a comma to print the even numbers, which is a variable, even numbers. Then I can also print quote odd numbers. Then put a comma after the quotation. Then we'll say odd numbers. So let's run this program. So you can see even numbers are 22, 24. Then odd numbers are 11, 33, and 55. Okay, in the next class, we are going to write a very interesting program, which is to-do list. How to manage to-do of a person. Okay, we want to write a very interesting program called to-do app. To-do app manages tasks of a user. Let's try to look at how it works. You can see this is the output by the right hand side. This welcomes us to the app, simple to-do app. This lists the current to-do, which is empty, and there's a prompt to request the user to add, remove, view, or exit. So if the user clicks add or types add, it will request the user to enter the task he or she wants to add. It is the task, and a message will be displayed, task it added. Now you can see this looks like an iteration. So the app prints again current to-do lists and prints the current list which contains it. It requests again add, remove, view, or exit. If the user chooses add, it requests for the task to add, which is drink, task drink added. Another iteration, this one, instead of writing or typing add, I typed remove. So a task that you want to remove is it. So if the task exists, it will remove it. If it does not exist, it will tell you the task does not exist. So this looks like an iteration and performing different tasks. So let's look at how to achieve this. So the first thing we want to do is to write this code, current to-do list, which means we have to initialize our list. So let's just write it simple. Let's say to-do underscore list is an empty list. So now let's go through our iteration. The reason why we have to go through our iteration now is because you can see for every iteration we print current to-do list, which is always returning the to-do list we initialized. So that means this has to be part of the iteration. So let's start with our while loop. So while true. Now what do we want to do? We want to print the current to-do list. So we'll say print, a quote, current to-do list. What is the current to-do list? You put a comma, then you put a variable, which is what? To-do list. So if you run that, you are going to get this. Now, but don't forget, there's a space between this tied to and current to do list message. So before the current to do list, I want to always add a space or a new line. So you can come here /new line. So the /new line will be inserted just before the current to do list message. Okay, now you can see the next one is to request the user to type or choose what he or she wants. So let's use our input and store the result inside action. Action equals to input. So what's the prompt? The prompt is add, comma, remove, comma, view, comma, or exit. So now the option choosing or type that the user is told in action. Then we can start using our conditional statement to check what the option is. So I can come here, if action equals add, then do something, do a lot of things, but now for now I don't want to execute anything. I can just put pass. No action will be done, but the code will not return an error. Elif action equals, what's the second task? That's remove. What do I want to do? Okay, I want to perform some actions, but I will need pass as a placeholder. So it is not compulsory you put pass. You can start writing your code, but I want to structure my program before writing the inner code. So another option can be elif action equals, what's the next one? View. I'm talking about this view. So pass. Then elif action equals exit. I also want to put pass. Then I want to terminate now, else I want to end my program. Else, if all these are not entered, then I want to tell the user you have input or you have done an invalid action. Just print invalid action. Can you see? Invalid action. And let me just tell him to choose add, comma, remove, comma, view, comma, or exit. Okay, I've structured my program now, so I can start to write the inner programs. Now, if action equals to add, what do I want to do? I can remove this pass and write the code. I want to prompt the user to enter the task, which is this. Enter a task to add. So I need an input statement again. So and I need to store it in a variable. Let me call the variable task equals input enter a task to add. Now, after entering the task, I want to append the task to the to-do list, which is empty at the initial stage. So I want to say the to-do list now, instead of being empty, let me append the task the user added task. Can you see? I am not quoting this task because this task is not a string per se. It's storing string, is a variable, so you don't quote variable. Or okay, after adding, you can see it says task it added. I want to print what has been added. Print. I can use my f string to be able to insert the variable task. Then the variable will be placed in a curly brace. What's the variable? Variable is task, which is this. This is the task the user entered. Like after the curly brace, I can say added. Now I should quote this task so that it will say task, then the task, if it is it will code the it task code it added. So I'll put the quote here and the quote here. Okay. Okay, this is not working. Let's just skip this for now. That can be because, let me use the double quote here, then I can use single quote here and single quote here. I think this is okay. So now I'm done with the action add. In case the user enter adds, all this will be executed. What if the user enters remove? Then you should prompt the user to enter the task to remove. So task as a variable equals input, enter a task to remove. Now, if the user enters, for example, it, and it exists, so we have to ensure that before you remove a task, the task should exist. So let's check. So if task in to-do list, that's what stores our task, to-do list. Then what do I want to do? I want to append that task to the to-do list. Sorry, I want to remove that task from the to-do list. So I'll say the to-do list dot remove. What do I want to remove? The task I just added, I just entered. So the task I said I want to remove is stored in task. So if I check that task in to-do list, if it exists, then this line of code will be executed. That is, the task will be removed. Else, I want to tell the user that the task is not found, and it will go back to the beginning of the loop and request again for me to enter the task, the option. Okay, so I want to say print. I can say f string, then quote task. What's the task? Task is a variable that stores the task that I want to remove. Not found. So I can use double quote here. So I can just quote this. Task, quote, task, not found. Single quote, single quote. So now what if the user chooses view? All I just want to do is to print. So print, I can say quote your to-do list. Then I can put a comma after the quotation and put the variable to-do list, which stores all the to-do list tasks. Now what if the user enters exit? I want to say goodbye. So print goodbye for now. Then since it is exit, I have to break out of the loop finally, so it doesn't start from the beginning again. So I want to break out of the loop. So I think I've done a fantastic job here. Let's run our program. Right click. So current to-do list is empty. Can you see? You want to add, remove, view, or exit. I want to add. Enter a task to add. I want to eat. Can you see task eat added? Okay. Current to-do list is now eat. Can you see it starts from the loop again and print to-do list, which now contains it. So now I still want to add. Let me say drink. Can you see it says drink, task drink added. Okay, what do you want to do now? I want to remove a task, and the task I want to remove is drink. Can you see? Current to-do list now has just eat because it has removed drink. So now I want to exit. So it says goodbye for now. Okay, now we want to talk about list slicing. List slicing means I want to slice a list. I want to extract part of that list. For example, if I want to slice the list names, this is names, I'll use a square bracket, then slice it. For example, if I want to slice or get all the item in the list, I will use a full column. So this will get all items in the list. And if I want to print that, I will use a print function before it. So now this one will return all the items in the list. Now if I want to print elements from index 1 to index 3, that is, start from index 1, which is Ade, Ola is 0, so Ade, Shade, and Kunle, I'll say print names, then slice, that's the square bracket, from 1, full column, then 4. Why I'm putting 4 here is, this will return items from index 1 to 3. It will always stop at the index before the last index I specified, so it will not get to 4. So it will print Ade, Shade, and Kunle. Let's try to look at that. Right click. Can you see? Ade, Shade, and Kunle. Now print elements from index 2 to the end. This will start from index 2, which is index 0, 1 to that's Shade to the end. So can you see? Start from Shade, then to the end. Print elements or item from beginning to index 2. So I'll put nothing, then a full column, then 3. It will stop at the number before 3, which is 2. So it will print from beginning to index 2. So from beginning is Ola, then index 0 is Ola, 1 and 2. It will stop at Shade, so Ola, Ade, and Shade. Then now, I want to print every second element from index 1 to index 5. So this is index 1 to index 5. I put 6 before because it will stop at the index before 6, which is 5. So now every second element, the 2 here indicates every second element. So it will start from can you see Ade, Kunle, and Olu is every second element. Now print every second element from the start. Okay, so every second element. So it will start from Ola. Can you see this? Shade. Can you see this? And Ladi. That's every second element. So we're going to continue with negative slicing in the coming video. Okay, we want to continue with negative slicing. I want to print the last element or get the last element. I'll say the names, which is the name of the list, then a square bracket, and -1. -1 will give me the last element. If I want, okay, let's print. So the last element here is Olu. If I want the second to the last element, I will say -2. Then that should give me Ladi. Can you see this? So if I want third to the last element, I'll put -3. Now print last 3 elements. That means I want to start from -3 to the last. So I'll say -3. That is third to the last. So I'll say -3 full column. Then I leave the rest. The rest means consider the rest. So I want to print. Okay, if I want to print the last 4 elements, I'll just say -4. Then to print the last 4 elements, let's check it. Can you see it starts from Shade, Kunle, Ladi, and Olu. That's it here. So I want to print from beginning to element -3. Don't forget, if you start from the beginning and if you indicate the n, which is minus 3, it will skip the minus 3. Let's look at from beginning. It will start Ola, Ade, Shade. Now, it stops at minus 3. Where's minus 3? Third to the last. Olu, Lade, Kunle, that's third to the last. It will skip this. And it's starting from the beginning, don't forget. So it will not get to Kunle, it will stop at Shade. It will skip the minus 3. So it will stop at Shade from the beginning. So I have Olu, Ade, and Shade. Then if I want to print from minus 4 to minus 2, where is minus 4? That's fourth to the last. Let's count from the last. Olu, Lade, Kunle, and Shade. It's starting from Shade and stops at minus 2. Where is minus 2? That's second to the last. Olu, Lade. Lade is second to the last. Don't forget, it will skip this. So it will only stop at Kunle. So it will print Shade and Kunle, which is what we have here. So don't forget the rule. When you are starting from a particular position, it will start from that position. And when you are ending at a particular index, it will skip that last index and stop before the last index. That's the rule. Let's look at a simple program to strengthen our knowledge on slicing. Write a program to say each product is good. I want to say drinks is good, meat is good, milk is good, egg is good. It will skip this product because product is just the name of all these products. So that means I have to slice drinks, meat, milk, and egg. So I can say for item of a product in products. But this product is not all the products I need. I only need drinks, meat, milk, egg. So I can create another or slice another list from this list. How do I slice? So start from index 1, which is drinks. Don't forget products is index 0. So start from index 1 to the last index. So then I put a full column. Then I say print. I can use my F string and the quotation mark. So now what is each element or each item? That is, I can use a curly brace. I'll just type item. So if I pick the first item, what's the first item here? It's starting from index 1. So the first item here is what? Is drinks. So you just say drinks is good. Don't forget, don't put is good inside the curly brace. What you put inside the curly brace is a variable name, which is what? Item. So it will go to the second item after the first iteration. Meat. Say meat is good, milk is good, egg is good. So let's run this program. Can you see? Drinks is good, meat is good, milk is good, egg is good. So the reason why I chose this program is for you to know that it's not all about slicing. Can you implement the slicing in a program? So thank you. Okay, let's look at using the random module with list. Don't forget, a module consists of some codes such as functions that can be used to perform actions. For example, random is a module that consists some functions like randint, shuffle, choice, sample, etc. So I need those functions. So for me to use them, I have to import the module that contains them, which is random. So I'll say import random. Now I want to select a random item from the list above. So to select a random item, I need the choice method of function. So let me declare a variable random underscore choice. Now the module is random dot and I need a method choice. From which list? The name of the list is fruits as declared above. Let me print the random choice. So it gets apple. Let's print again. It gets cherry. So anytime I execute this code, it picks a random item from the fruits list. Now the next one we want to look at is shuffle. Shuffle will disarrange the items in the list. Okay, let's say random dot shuffle. What list do I want to shuffle? The fruits list. Then let's print the fruits now after shuffling. And let's, okay, can you see? Now we have cherry, grape, orange as against apple, banana. So it has shuffled the list. So the next one we want to look at is generate a sample from the list. Generate a sample from the list. You want to generate a sample of 3 items from the fruit list. Okay, let me declare a variable to store the sample. This is sample. It's random dot sample. Sample is the method. So what's the list? Fruits. How many sample? I need 3 items. So let me print. I'm now printing the sample because that's the variable that stores the samples that is being picked. So let's run. So we have picked cherry, apple, and mango. Okay, now we want to look at how to enumerate a list. We use enumerate keyword to get the index and elements or items in a list. So we use enumerate if we want to get the index of an item, for example, mango, and also get the index of that mango. For example, mango is at index 0. So I can get mango and get 0. So how do we use this enumerate? So say for, you are going to declare 2 variables that will iterate. The first one is the index and the second one is the item. In, now instead of saying this fruits, in fruits, I will now say in, we enumerate the fruits, enumerate fruits. So this enumerate keyword has made it possible for us to get the index, which is 0 here, and also item, which is mango. So we can do anything we like with the index and then the item. So I want to say print f string. I want to get the index. I am using a curly brace because index is a variable. Then I also want to say 1. So this will say, pick the first item, which is 0, first index 0. And the item, I also want to use a curly brace to get the item, which is the name of the fruit. So let's try to run this program. You can see 0.mango 1. So second iteration, it will go and get index of orange, which is 1 now, and get the item, which is the orange itself. Then the next iteration, it will get the index of banana, which is the 3rd item, and also get the item banana. I am getting these pairs because I'm asking it to print index dot then space the item. So index is 0, item is mango. Okay, now, so what if, okay, let me have a print here. So now what if I want to start from index 1? Now it started from index 0. Normally this mango is supposed to be 1 dot mango, 2 dot mango. So I can specify the starting index. So for index, comma, item. You can use any name of your choice. I can use fruit. Enumerate. Then what is the list? The list is fruits. Okay, I'm supposed to say in enumerate, then we have fruits. I'm starting from index 1. So let's print a string, curly brace, index, then a dot after the index. Then I also want another curly brace to get the fruit. So let's print. You can see 1.mango, 2.orange, 3.banana, 4.apple. Okay, that is that about enumerate.